Mozambique, December 17, 2024.
O que está acontecendo agora? Cidade de Pemba.
At least 34 people have died while 175,000 others have been displaced by Cyclone Chido in Mozambique, officials said on Tuesday. According to a flash update issued by the country's National Institute for Natural Disaster, the northern provinces of Niassa, Nampula, and Cabo Delgado have seen the highest numbers of fatalities and massive destruction. Schools and health units were among the buildings and infrastructure reportedly destroyed, hindering the delivery of social services in the provinces. Officials in the Southeast African nation said the number of fatalities is likely to rise as assessment of the damage is still underway. So far, about $4 million has been committed to the affected areas in an early humanitarian response. In neighboring Malawi, 2 people have been reported dead while 1,800 others have been left homeless, according to the country's Disaster and Management Affairs Department. The country's southern region has reportedly been hardest hit. On Sunday, Chido made landfall in Mozambique, bringing strong winds, thunderstorms, and heavy rainfall exceeding 250 millimeters in 24 hours. The cyclone then moved to Malawi.
Pode.
Sim, seja. Bom dia, senhor. Boa tarde, boa noite. Está vendo a minha casa? A casa tudo está danificada. Totalmente o que está acontecendo é só a tristeza.
UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, is deeply concerned about the impact on these vulnerable communities and is working closely with the government of Mozambique and humanitarian partners to provide immediate assistance. Within the first 48 hours, UNHCR assisted at the largest accommodation center in Pemba, the capital of Cabo Delgado, where more than 2,600 people received emergency relief and essential items such as blankets, sleeping mats, mosquito nets, and emergency shelter supplies. UNHCR is also coordinating the provision of vital protection services to the most vulnerable. While the full extent of the damage in rural areas remains unclear, preliminary assessments suggest that around 190,000 people urgently need humanitarian assistance. 33 schools have been affected and nearly 10,000 homes were destroyed. In some villages, very few houses remain standing. Years of conflict, forced displacement and economic hardship have left communities in the region increasingly vulnerable. For many displaced families, Cyclone Chido has caused renewed hardship, washing away what little they had managed to rebuild. Prior to the storm, UNHCR and partners pre-positioned emergency relief items and supported the government to widely share disaster preparedness messages in all the provinces impacted through TV, radio, WhatsApp and hotline, helping local disaster management committees to prioritize support for vulnerable groups. In Nampula, while some districts were affected, the more than 8,000 refugees, mainly from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Burundi, residing in Maritime camp experienced minimal damage, suggesting that recent efforts to build climate-resilient housing were effective. Cyclone Chido caused significant devastation in Mayotte, a French overseas territory, resulting in fatalities, infrastructure damage, and increased risks for vulnerable communities, including asylum seekers and refugees. UNHCR is actively monitoring the situation and coordinating with local partners. In southern Malawi, the storm brought strong winds and rains leading to the destruction of houses and infrastructure in several areas. UNHCR has pre-positioned shelter kits to support the government-led response. UNHCR is worried that Cyclone Chido may signal the start of an intense and destructive rainy season, which has historically brought cyclones and severe flooding to the region. Displaced communities and their hosts, already struggling to recover, now face increased risks of further displacement and loss, highlighting once again that climate impacts continue hitting the most vulnerable the hardest. UNHCR is committed to supporting affected communities in Mozambique and across the region, working closely with governments and humanitarian partners. However, resources are rapidly dwindling and thousands more individuals will need urgent assistance in the coming days.